I've been a political news junkie my entire life. I even remember election night 1980 when I was 7 years old. And through bad times and good times, it was always something I enjoyed. But then, one day, this happened.
Trump is the Republican Party's presumptive nominee for president.
And then this.
Hillary Clinton clinching the Democratic nomination for president.
I had a terrible feeling Trump was going to win, and I went crazy. I was consumed by the madness, straining ties with family and friends, and on the verge of a mental breakdown. When Trump did win, I sank into the lowest point of my life. The anger and despair were overwhelming. Even worse, most of my family voted for Trump. I'd been an optimist my entire life, and now that identity was gone.
I was furious with Trump voters, and letting go of that anger seemed impossible. My family are kind, loving people. How could they support this? So in November of 2017, I flew to Washington, D.C. to begin a journey of forgiveness and understanding. I'm on my way to see Daryl Davis, who has spent the last 30 years befriending members of the KKK and has gotten about 36 of them to leave the KKK.
We need to stop talking about each other, talking at each other, and talking past each other. What I do is I sit down and I talk with each other, okay? You cannot hate the hate out of someone. You know, you have to love the hate out of them. I began researching black supremacy, white supremacy, anti-Semitism, the Nazis in Germany, the neo-Nazis here, the Ku Klux Klan, because I knew people were not born with that ideology. It came from somewhere. So where did it come from? Where is it going? How can it be addressed? And I formed a question in my mind at that time. And that question was, how can you hate me when you don't even know me? I was playing in a band one day at an all-white lounge. After the first set, a gentleman approached me and wanted to have me sit with him at his table and buy me a drink. And then he remarked that this was the first time he'd ever had a drink with a black man. And I asked him innocently, I said, why? At first he didn't answer me, and then moments later he revealed that he was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. And later it dawned on me, you know what? Who better to ask? How can you hate me when you don't even know me? Than to ask someone who would join an organization whose whole premise historically has been hating those who do not look like them and who do not believe as they believe. If you spend 5 minutes with your worst enemy, you will find that you have something in common. If you spend 10 minutes, you find even more. If you nurture those commonalities, you are forging a relationship. If you nurture that relationship, you are forging a friendship. The biggest weapon for ignorance is knowledge. And you want to learn as much as you can about their position, where they're coming from. What you'll find is this: even though they may not like you, when they see that you know as much, if not more than they do about their position, they will respect you. One of my favorite quotes of all time is by Mark Twain. He says, "Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts." That is so true, And I will tell you something. Had I not done all the travel that I have, would I sit down with the Klan or neo-Nazis? Maybe not. Maybe not, But having that exposure and getting along with people on the other side of the world whose culture is the exact opposite of ours has enabled me to sit down with people in my own country and try to forge a relationship. People form these anti-racist groups. You're not racist, I'm not racist, he's not racist, so let's get together and form an anti-racist group. And we'll meet the third Wednesday of every month and talk about how bad racism is. What are we accomplishing? Nothing. What we need to do is invite that racist over there to come sit at our table with us and explain to us why he or she feels this way. Say, look, I don't want to debate you, I just want to have a conversation. Tell me why you think I should believe the way you do. Give me some clarification. And when you do things like that, there's an excellent chance that he or she will reciprocate and allow you a platform to explain why you feel the way you do. And so you do it in an intelligent and influential manner. because you each have to think about what the other person said. So you plant a seed, all right? And remember this, when two enemies are talking, they're not fighting. It's when the talking ceases that the ground becomes fertile for violence.
I felt a lot better after talking with Daryl. If he can sit down and talk with members of the KKK, then the rest of us should be able to sit down and talk with our own family and friends. A few miles up the road from Daryl's, the annual Antietam Battlefield Memorial was taking place. Every year, they light 22,000 candles, one for every casualty at the site of the bloodiest battle in the Civil War.